Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Tuesday video report. 31-16 run with free picks after taking a split last night, scoring easily in the NBA with the Portland Trail Blazers. I think it was their 16th consecutive straight-up victory against the Minnesota Timberwolves, getting the road win and cover. That other free pick on Kansas didn't exactly pan out against Kansas State, but 31-16 run with the free picks over the past 6-7 weeks or so, and three more coming their way in just a moment. Going to take a look at Michigan and Ohio State, Wichita State and Evansville, and Missouri, Texas Tech. You know, I don't know if many of you out there have gone to spring training. I've been to spring training more times than I can count, from the early 80s when spring training was a novelty idea before it turned into like this fan experience where everybody has to charter buses or charter flights, you know, and it's become the thing to do. But this is the time, before the games start. Players just reporting, pitchers and catchers reporting earlier this week, most of the position players slowly making their way in. Every team is optimistic they can make the playoffs. Unless, of course, you happen to be the Pittsburgh Pirates, where you just hope the hell you get the 500 finally. But instead, what do we have? Day in, day out. It's all this contract BS. Albert Pujols, you know, he needs to get that new contract or whatever, a decision by tomorrow, because he doesn't want to be distracted. I don't know. If I'm making $20 million this year in the final year of my contract, I could be distracted. I mean, what? If he gets distracted by contract talks going on that could get him $30 million a year, it's going to distract him from having a good season? I mean, Cardinals, hey, listen, you're in a lousy division that you're going to dominate again. You have a few good hitters. You got a great pitching staff, decent bullpen. Let Albert walk or trade him. Get something in return. I mean, these teams, yeah, Albert Pujols is 31 years old, but to commit 20, 25 million, whatever the ridiculous number is, for 8 to 10 years, it doesn't make sense. Quick, tell me what productive players you know in the non-steroid era that are productive when they're 37, 38, 39 years old. It just doesn't happen. But, you know, Scott Boras, Albert Pujols, they'll hold up St. Louis for everything they're worth. Cardinals will feel that, you know, the fans will turn on them if they don't go ahead and sign the guy. But yet, St. Louis baseball fans are probably some of the most loyal and rabid fans out there. Quality product. They're going to show up one way or another. And again, you've got a guy that you could unload possibly during the season. Strange going-ons. It just spoils the whole beginning of spring training. I mean, you get through the winter, you get through the snow. If you happen to be in those climates, you're looking forward to spring training for the games to start, and you got to put up with this crap. It's one of the reasons why I got out of being a reporter many years ago. Because at that point, you know, a guy's made $500,000, it was big money. A guy made $1 million, it was big money. But athletes were already prima donnas. They're worse now. And, you know, a guy like me, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to athletes, and part of me just wants to go, will you shut the F up? You know, you just want to tell them, it's like, you're so full of, you know what? But you can't, because, you know, you got to get the story, you got to get the quote, you got to be their buddy, because, you know, without them, you can't do your job, so you have to kiss a lot of ass. I don't know. I just didn't have the temperament for that. Let's get to your free picks here tonight. First one, Ohio State, minus 13 points against Michigan State tonight. Now, we know the whole deal. The Buckeyes were up by 15 points at Wisconsin, yada. They lost the game, first loss of the season. But listen, do you feel that comfortable taking the points with Michigan State, a team that had failed to cover 9 straight games before beating Penn State, an injury-riddled Penn State team, 75-57 in their last game? Do you feel comfortable taking 13 points with a Michigan State team that has lost 5 in a row on the road, straight up and against the spread, that has lost 5 of its last 7 games overall? Because the only other win that the Spartans have, other than Penn State, they beat a bad injury-riddled Indiana team by 1 single point at home. I think Ohio State, youth serves them well tonight. Because the great thing about youth is you don't know you're supposed to be devastated after losing that game. You're back at home in Columbus. The fans are going to be there. You're going to come out tonight. And I would lay the points with Ohio State in this one, because I think youth will be served. They're the more talented team. This Michigan State team, other than Dick Vitale, do you know anybody that's in love with Michigan State this season? I mean, it's almost like every day somebody wakes up going, hey, this is the game that Tom Izzo is going to turn this team around. It's not going to happen. This is not that talented of a team. Would I put my own money on it? No, but I think Ohio State is the way to go tonight. Next game, a team that I have bet on quite a bit this year and used frequently. I like Wichita State tonight, laying 5.5 to 6 points at Evansville. Listen, this Wichita State team, I was really impressed with the way they came out and hammered Northern Iowa over the weekend on the road, 73-55, because it was a big bounce-back game. They had just had their 5-game winning streak snapped when they got upset at home by an injury-riddled, bad Southern Illinois team, 56-53. So they go on the road, they win that game. They're 7-0 in Missouri Valley Conference play, straight up and against the spread on the road this year. Every victory by double digits. Now, you tell me, why tonight is Wichita State only laying 5.5 to 6 points, considering they opened Missouri Valley Conference play back on December 29th with a 91-57 home rout of these same Purple Aces. Now, listen, I've been riding Evansville, as you know, over the past month, and I've liked them, and they had won 6 out of 7 before losing 2 of their last 3, including this Saturday when they got hammered at Bradley. A Bradley team that at one point this season had lost 13 straight games. I mean, an awful Bradley team. They lost by 14 points in Peoria against the Braves. In the first go-round, December 29th, when they lost 91-57 at Wichita, they got hammered on the boards, 35-20. You've got a very good defensive team in Wichita State, a team that only gives up about 62 points a game. So I say go ahead and lay the points with Wichita State. Your final game is Missouri at home against Texas Tech. Missouri, it's not like the Tigers have a look-ahead game. They're going to next go to Iowa State. This is an Iowa State team they already beat by 23 points at home this season. They're 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games. They're 5-0 straight up, 4-1 ATS in conference play in Columbia, winning against Oklahoma by 23. Beat up Colorado in revenge by 16. 23, as I said earlier, over Iowa State. 16 over Kansas State. Yes, the same Kansas State team. You saw what they did last night, the #1 Kansas. And Nebraska, the only game they failed to cover in that stretch, beating the Cornhuskers only by 7. Meanwhile, Tech has not only lost 3 in a row, but 7 of its last 10. Texas Tech coming off a 22-point home loss to Kansas, 16-point road loss in Austin to the Texas Longhorns, and a 3-point home loss to Texas A&M. They're 1-3 straight up on the conference road this season, losing by 34 points at Kansas State, 11 points at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma isn't any good, and 16 points, as I mentioned earlier, to Texas. And their top player, Mike Singletary, is averaging like 13 points a game. He only played 4 minutes because of an injury, and that Texas A&M loss, say that 3 times quickly, Texas A&M loss on Saturday, so he's questionable tonight. So I think you go ahead and you lay the points with Missouri, Wichita State, Ohio State. Those are your 3 freebies tonight. Good luck, everybody. I'll catch you again on Wednesday morning.